Welcome on into the Wolverine basketball show. I'm your host, Clayton Safey, here with my good friend Anthony Broom of thewolverine.com, of course. We're here at the Jack Breslin Student Events Center in East Lansing, Michigan, getting an 83-71 win over Michigan State. Like the video if you're happy about that. Wolverine fans, we need to get to 500 likes on this video, Anthony. You think we can do it?
I think so.
Okay. I believe in them, just like I believed in these guys. We both picked a Michigan win coming in here. People thought we were crazy. They hadn't done it since 2018, Anthony, but tonight the better team won the game and led for over 36 minutes. Michigan State, not as good of a team as Michigan, leads for 24 seconds, but they battled back. I credit Michigan State. The way they played in that second half was, exactly how you expected them with the effort and intensity to come out after getting blitzed in the first half. And they mucked it up. They were more physical. They were, grabbing the ball when Michigan was in the post and forcing a bunch of turnovers. But at the end of the day, Michigan made some massive, massive plays down the stretch.
They did. It's Tom Izzo's birthday today. Our invite got lost in the mail. We showed up anyway.
Well, we were here, yeah.
Because, this is where you were supposed to be on January 30th.
That's right.
A huge, big-time, second top 10 win for Michigan this week.
Yes.
Kind of a defining week for them. To a certain extent in Big Ten play. I mean, I think everyone will look back on that week that they had in Vegas as kind of the crown jewel of this season to this point. But
now it's this.
It's this because of just how overdue they were. That's the thing is like when you're on a losing streak, it feels like you're never going to win again. And when you're on a winning streak, it feels like you're never going to lose again, right? In this series.
They haven't lost a lot. Yeah. Oh, in the series, yes.
In the series, right.
Yeah, well, it did feel like a lot of people – the reason why they felt like Michigan wouldn't win this game is because of where the game was being played.
Which is fair. I mean, it was as raucous in here as it usually is.
It was an electric atmosphere. Credit the Michigan State student section, the fans that were here, and Dusty May was sitting right here, right in front of where we are.
Probably where this camera is right here.
Yeah, where the camera is. So you guys are there in the spot where he was sitting right in front of the student section right here. And he said after the game, he didn't realize the students were in the building yet. He wanted to come out, take a peek, look around a little bit, as he does when they get to a new venue for the season. And they were there. He's like, I didn't know they were in there. When we walked in or came off the bus, they were in line outside. So he didn't realize that. But he said, no, I'm not ducking or dodging anybody. He sat right in front of them. They were screaming some really nasty things at him. F you, Dusty was being chanted. And kids right behind him. He was smiling the entire time, unfazed, just like his team was unfazed here. Michigan State had the momentum early in that second half, but let's talk about the first half, Anthony, where Michigan takes a 16-point lead into the halftime locker room, and they played well. Like, as well as they played in the first, it was equal to how poorly they played in the beginning of the second half with all the turnovers. But Yaxel Lendeborg with 12 first-half points, Elliot Cadeau with 8 and 2 big threes there. And the game kind of changed on the intentional foul on Yax. He makes both free throws. Michigan gets the ball back and one. Yax, and he makes the free throw. 5-point play. That really helped. I don't have the exact score at that point, and I'll pull it up here as you talk here. But I thought that kind of ignited what Michigan's first half was.
I think this was, and I would have to go back and look, but I think this is probably the 5th game I've been here. Was at 1 in the stands, but 4 in the press area that we have, where we're standing the whole game, by the way. Student section standing up the whole time. We pretty much are too. So shout out to us for the 40-minute effort there. But my thoughts on that first half were that's how most of the Michigan State halves I've seen in this building have looked, where everything is, you're not getting any easy buckets at all. The other team's hitting big shots. They're getting the second chance opportunities, getting the loose balls. So Michigan, it was nice to see them kind of flip the script on that. And not that that's been an area where they've struggled this year in totality, but there have been lapses at times in some of these games where I don't even know if I'd question the effort, just more so the level of competitiveness, the execution. The first half was kind of a masterclass for what this team can be and is this year, where suffocating on defense, especially in the 2-point game, hit enough threes to kind of extend your lead. And
5 of them in the first half. You can't ask for a lot more.
Yeah, you came into this game needing the best games that Elliot Cadeau and Yaxel Lindeborg could give you. And by and large, they passed that test with flying colors.
34-21 is what the 5-point play made the lead. And then Trey McKinney swelled the lead to 37-21, to use that word, which applies there with the 16-point margin after that play. And again, that was the lead that Michigan took into the halftime break. And Dusty May said after the game that they felt like they left some plays out there too, a couple fouls that were dumb 90 feet away from the basket that eventually put Michigan State in the bonus and led to points for Michigan State. And then the Cohen Card dunk right at the end. So they could have been up more after that first half. Then they're down, okay? 59-57 with 6:55 to go. And from that point on, Michigan takes control of the game, 83-71 final. Yaxel Lindeborg, to read off some of the stats here, ends with 26 points, 6 of 13 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. That first half was where the 3 came. 13 of 15 at the charity stripe, 12 rebounds, 1 assist. And then Elliot Cadeau, 17 points, 5 of 8 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. Anthony, his 3 at the 3:08 mark to make it 69-63. He's right over here. And you have Merez Johnson sets a screen on Jeremy Fears. Fears, it was the best screen all night because the guy fell down and it was clean. Fears falls down a lot and really tries to, he's flopping all over the place all night long. And
he'd be terrible at the game. The floor is lava, by the way.
yeah, he would be. And but Elliot Cadeau steps right into it and knocks it down. And that was kind of the moment where you felt like, okay, they have control of this game back after they had lost it. So the big shots there. Merez Johnson, it wasn't just a screen. It was some monster rebounds that he was skying for. The one over here, when you had a missed shot, he's kind of falling down, tips it up. Elliot Cadeau ends up with a loose ball, calls timeout as well, and then hits big free throws later on. Cadeau was incredible. And, Fears scored, 31 points? It's a career high from him. But Elliot Cadeau was part of the winning team and made those winning plays at the end. He had a lot of help. Fears didn't have as much help. But, Michigan didn't hit a ton of shots, 44% from the field, 38% from 3, 8 of 21, good enough. But Michigan State was locked down most of the night other than when they got some nice buckets there to begin the second half. They shoot 37% from the field, 4 of 23 from 3.
Like I said about that first half, Michigan, the way that Michigan won this game is the way that Michigan State has won a lot of these games over the years, where you get to the free throw line, you convert, you are just finding ways to get to as many loose balls as you can. And pivoting back to Elliot Cadeau for a second, with Michigan retires Trey Burke's number last Friday night, number 3.
Honor.
Sorry, there's a difference there, but
there is.
With Trey Burke was the guy that kind of redefined what a point guard at Michigan could be. And when a guy wears that number, it comes with an expectation too. Trey Burke is a unicorn, and he's why he's one of 6 guys that has his number up in the rafters at Chrysler Center.
Didn't win here.
What's that?
Didn't win here either.
He never did?
No.
Wow. That's crazy to think
They got
about.
blitzed by 23 in his second year, sophomore season.
Basically, what I was working up to is that Elliot Cadeau is not, because of the bar that was set with a guy like him as a lead guard, Elliot Cadeau is more of the distributor, and he'll hit some big shots. He can take over games and hit some big shots like he has, but I think he's got a lot of crap from Michigan fans throughout the year because, he's got a lot of 8-point, 6 assists, 3 or 4 turnover type of games. The way he performed tonight is what they need him to be. Operating this offense, there were a couple of ill-advised turnovers. I think at this point, we're 2 years into the Dusty May era. That's just going to happen with how fast they play sometimes. But I think the world of the contributions they got out of him tonight. And again, it wasn't talked about this in the sort of the storyline preview that I did this afternoon, where you didn't necessarily need him to be the better point guard, but you need him to play his best game. And I thought you could make the argument this is one of his better games, if not the best game of the season.
You didn't need him to be the better point guard because he has more around him.
Right.
And the system doesn't dictate that he does everything. Fears assists on over 50% of his team's made buckets when he's on the floor. He accounts for 35 points a game, 35.4 coming in, and now it's higher than that between scoring and assisting. Hats off to him for all that, but Michigan had just the better team in terms of even depth, right? Michigan State plays a lot of guys, but Michigan plays a lot of more better players. I mean, Namari Burnett in this game really was essentially a non-factor. He played 12 minutes only. Adai Mara with 21 minutes, but Michigan was rolling better in the second half when they took him off the floor and they went with Yaxel Lendeborg and Morez Johnson Jr. In the front court. And Tom Izzo said after the game that was probably a good move by him. I think it was definitely a good move because Adai Mara had it going early with some of those made shots. He made a couple hook shots. He did have a few big blocks in this game, but he also threw the ball away a little bit too much. It felt like Michigan State was really going to start scraping down on the ball in the post, and he was just it just wasn't going to work. And they were getting caught up a little bit in their screen and roll game on defense. The way Michigan played that after going zone, which didn't really work all that much. I'd love to see the points per possession on that zone, but they tried to mix it up. Maybe they threw Michigan State out of the rhythm, even if they still got some points during that stretch. And then at the end to lock them down the way that they did. So your thoughts on, Trey McKinney playing the role that he did, because he played and scored 10 points, 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. He was in there for 23 minutes, kind of took Namari Burnett's minutes. Roddy Gale had a bigger role this game. He didn't have a very big role last game. Like, Michigan's depth showed up.
Will Cheddar played a lot down the stretch.
Will Cheddar, how have we gone this long and not talked about his 3 in this one as well?
Those are high level contributions from him and Trey McKinney for the second game in a row. I thought more so McKinney on Tuesday night, from that under 8 timeout on, was incredible. And Cheddar made some energy plays in that game too. But I'd be hard pressed to think of a bigger shot that Will Cheddar has made at Michigan than the 3-pointer that he made late in this game.
Yes.
So
he made it 60-59 with 6:39 to go. So Michigan State gets that lead. Will Cheddar from right over here knocks it in. I'm a little turned around. I don't know which side's which, but
no, you have it right.
Okay,
we were up there somewhere.
You can kind of feel it, I guess. Incredible shot from him. So yeah, that kind of furthers the point of the depth on this team showed up because not everyone had it going. Some guys did, and they just rode the guys that it was working with. And I think that
it's and mixed with a guy in Yaxel Lendeborg who
yes.
I think the thing that he brings most to the table, forget the switchability on defense and his offensive game, that's a guy who's patient and lets the game come to him. And this game tonight required him to be the alpha, the 26 points, the 12 rebounds that he had. I think people want to see him do that every night, but he's kind of the quintessential Dusty May player in a nutshell, where these games and what he is required to do in them, it's going to change night to night. And most nights you're going to get a plus contribution from him. So I thought this was a great bounce back from him as well.
It was. And now he's played 3 out of 4 really good games. I assume, I haven't looked at Ken Pom yet. He's the MVP now in 3 of the last 4 games. The Nebraska game was what it was from his standpoint. He still did some good things in that game. But to do it here, just showed that this team is going to have the championship fight, the championship level grit, the championship level composure to do it. And if Trey McKinney would have hit a few more of his threes as well, there's even more separation in this game. But to win it by 12, to make your free throws at the end, to not get caught up in the talk and the flopping and what Jeremy Fears brings. And he kind of represents their program perfectly, but to not get caught up in any of that and to just come in here business-like, win the game after playing a top 10 team or top 5 team on Tuesday at Chrysler, it was pretty remarkable. So now you don't play until next Thursday. Penn State comes in. You've already faced them. You won by 2. I would imagine Michigan's excited to not get back at Penn State because Michigan won that basketball game in Happy Valley. But I think that they're going to be charged up and ready after a little bit of a break here with some short turnarounds to prove that they are much better than just 2 points better than Penn State.
I think if we want to talk about the response and what comes next, I don't want to see now the deep breath where it's like, we got these 2 wins. Mm-hmm. Now you sink back into some of the bad habits.
This is the standard now.
Yeah.
No, the way they played, getting the basketballs on the floor and the rebounds. And the amazing stat of the day is that Michigan State had 15 offensive boards. Michigan had 11, but Michigan wins a second chance battle 14-6, and it was 14-0. You said that to me late in the game. That was
all in the last minute or so,
right?
Too.
But you said that to me late in the game, and I hadn't looked down again. We were kind of standing up because you can't see. They don't have
a little inside baseball here. If you ever have watched the videos on YouTube where it's like the calls of the game for Dan Miller and the Lions, where he's like standing up and leaning over the booth to see what's going on. That was us this entire game.
Yeah.
More so me because, obviously.
Right? I was on my tippy toes.
It was a bit of a workout, but
that stat though, the fact that even when Michigan State got the offensive boards, it wasn't right around the rim. And even if it was, then they had to back it out because Michigan has so much size down low.
Yeah.
So their game, Michigan beat them at their – and that's Michigan's game too because Michigan's great on the offensive glass. But to win that part of the game, I think is extremely important for this team. Total rebounds were 36-36, but anyone who watched the game knows that Michigan won the battle on the glass, which is huge. So they
got the biggest ones. I mean,
they did.
It goes without saying, when you see the result, but resulting, as Dusty May calls it. But a heck of a first half. Not a great start to the second half. I think they reeled off about 20 points in 5 minutes. Michigan State did. But we've talked a lot about these emotional swings in these Big Ten games. In this game here, like that's the swings kind of define the games that you play here. And, for them to, they went down 2, but it never became a 5-point deficit, a 7-point deficit they really had to rally back from. Every punch that Michigan State tried to land, Michigan had a counterpunch for the most part in this game. So you've got to, I won't say a bit of a reprieve now. Like you said, you got a couple days off. You got to play Penn State at home. But there's a couple weeks down the road. There's a week that is this, if not harder than this, when you go to Purdue, and then a couple days later you got to DC to play Duke.
And that week starts with UCLA at home.
Yeah,
and UCLA might be getting an NBA player on their team. I don't know if you saw that. Amari Bailey is trying to come back. He's played in NBA games, but that's down the road.
That's tomorrow's problem. But
tonight's problem is probably Ricks or Skeeps for the boys.
Yeah,
after they get back on the bus.
Pray for Skeeps.
But you can't let your guard down. Michigan now in control here in the Big Ten with their 10th Big Ten win. I'm excited for some hoops on Sunday because we got Illinois and Nebraska, but the Big Ten's getting really fun in terms of the championship race right now. And Michigan is in control after an 83-71 win over the Michigan State Spartans. Michigan's first win in this building since 2018 when John Beilein was soaked in the locker room by all sorts of water bottles in a party. It's going to be a party back in Ann Arbor. It's already going on. I think they're going to celebrate long into the night after this one.
Celebrate it, but you got 24 hours to.
Mostly the fans, I'm saying.
Well, the fans. I mean, they'll be celebrating this till March 8th, whatever the next time they play this team is. Right. But this is huge. I mean, it puts you in the driver's seat for the Big Ten regular season. Obviously, that comes with Big Ten tournament seeding implications. You're kind of firmly on that one line now. I got to look at how the schedule breaks down here, but a lot of tough games left. Nothing set in stone, but to kind of have that bird in hand over Michigan State in January, where it seems like the last couple of years, this has been like they played 2 out of the last 4 games type of thing. To come here in January and kind of reestablish what you were, and it wasn't a perfect game by any stretch, but to reestablish what your identity is, what your proof of concept is. We've seen bits and pieces over the last few weeks. January hasn't been great. The USC game, they won by 30, but I didn't even think that was one of their better performances. Mm-hmm. This tonight was, you tip your cap. I mean, it's a hell of a program, and this is a hell of a place to play, and they found a way to do what a lot of Michigan teams haven't here, and that's get the win.
That's going to be our show. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Head to thewolverine.com. $1 for 5 days to try us out over at thewolverine.com. You get behind the paywall. That's going to do it here from the Jack Breslin Student Event Center. Michigan 83-71 winner. We'll see everyone next time.